Hello everybody and welcome to the first edition of the best teams for Pokemon Showdown. This is the May 2022, the first edition that I'm doing on this channel. And yeah, let's just get right into it and I'll show you guys the best teams. So this is the OU team from last month. So basically how I create these teams is that I take whatever I think is the most optimal Pokemon to play in the month, and then I built the team around it. And a lot of times I take what I have from last month and then just make tweaks. So Landorus Therian to me is the very clear best Pokemon in OU right now. Its typing's amazing, it's crazy strong, it's got a great move pool. There's not really much else to say about Lando, it's great, and I would definitely recommend using it. We are going to change some of these moves. EQ and U-turn are definitely staying because they're strong stab and easy pivoting. I feel like Toxic will be more important around what is going on in the meta, and the Fog will also want to stay. I am going to be switching up the EVs. I think that the speed is a little bit more important now, and we still are going to keep that max special defense. We're going to fully max out that HP and just give those remaining 4 to defense. So that's where I think Lando is right now. I do believe Pharaoh also shall remain on the team, and Leftovers to me still is the viable item. I am going to switch some of these EVs around a little bit. I'm going to go back to the physically defensive Ferrothorn. I honestly I can't never decide whether I want specially or physically defensive Ferrothorn. I'm feeling physically defensive this month. Of course, I'm still gonna have that 8 in special defense. Leech Seed, knockoff. I think this set's good. I just like to have. I'd rather have body press up front, just because I'd rather hit hard than add those extra hazards. I did get rid of Stealth Rock off of Lando, so for now we don't have a Rock Setter, but we do have Spikes just in case we need to have the hazards. So I do believe Weavile is still extremely good right now, even though I'd say its usage has gone down as time goes on, since it's a very good counter to Lando. We're gonna actually go Banded Weavile this time. I think the extra power will be necessary. EVs look good. Knock off Ice Shard, Triple Axle. We do not want Sword Stance anymore since we are now a banded set. So we'll just go with Beat Up, just in case we want the extra dark stab damage if we've already knocked off their item. Heatran will remain on the team as well. So far it's not very drastic changes. We are going to switch to Leftovers, just once again for lots of longevity. Offensive EVs, I want to keep that. Yeah, we have our Rock Setters on Heatran, so if we really want the Stealth Rock to go up, then we will keep we'll just use Heatran and not have Lando Lando will be more of a defog user, while Heatran will be the one to set the hazards. I'm actually gonna have Coco. We're gonna do Coco next. I do think that Coco is a still important member of this team. Surge, obviously, because who wants telepathy Tapu Koko? Boots still works well. I'm gonna put Gleam in front of T-Bolts. This is just for my own organization. It doesn't really matter in the sense. I do think that Volt switch, so we can have fully invested special attack. And yeah, this is good EVs. There's not really a ton I want to change about Coco right now. We are actually going to be changing our last member. We're going to be using Clefable. Clefable is infamous for being really annoying, so I really don't like to use Clefable all that much. But the problem is that Clefable is just so good right now. There's just so much that you can do with Clefable. I think Leftovers definitely let go Magic Guard, so that you can't Toxic and destroy it. Moonblast, Soft Boiled, Calm Mind, and then probably Knock Off just in case, you know. We're gonna go a more defensive EV spread, max HP, max defense, and a little bit of special defense. So yeah, that's actually it for the now May 2022 OU team. And let's move on to Ubers. I know this isn't going to be the most exciting video, but it will be very informative to making sure that you have the most optimal team that you can have. So moving on to Ubers, we are going to want, I think Yveltal is still the best right now. Yveltal is definitely still the best Pokemon that is in Ubers right now. I do think Roost should be in the front, Knockoff in second, and then Sucker Punch to Fog. I do think that is correct. The EVs look good. Yeah, Yveltal is just crazy. So if you look at like the rest of the team, a lot of this is made up of Pokemon that are really good in Ubers right now, and Yveltal just beats at least these three. These three they're weak to Dark for one, and there's also the Knockoff is very helpful for getting rid of the item, of course, and Sucker Punch is in case this Blazing Speed does not allow you to outspeed for whatever reason. Duskmane Necrozma though is just a defensive wall. Like that's what it comes down to. That's what it's meant to do. That's what it's going to do. And Morning Sun just allows it to just keep living. You're not going to be able to get rid of it very easily at all. EVs, they actually look good. I like the way that I've set this up. I like to keep my opponents guessing by having that little bit of special defense so that Necrozma does not die to physical or special attacks. It's actually more specially defensive than physically defensive because they expect this Pokemon to be super physically defensive. And then even that extra speed allows it to outspeed other Duskmane Necrozmas and just win. It wins in a Ditto most of the time, unless it's a D-Dance set, which is a little bit less common. So that's Duskmane Necrozma. I think Eternatus is still viable right now. I'd say Recover over Flamethrower. But yeah, no, Eternatus is pretty much the same as it always is. It's super strong, super fast, decent typing. And the power meter beam just makes it hit like a truck. It's crazy good. I'm gonna say Xerneas will be our next Pokemon. It will also be a Power Herb, but it'll be Power Herb Geomancy as these Xerneases are. I will say that Rest will be more important here, simply because we want Xerneas to live. And Aromatherapy was nice to have, but I didn't use it as much as I thought I would. But Rest definitely allows Xerneas to just stay alive, and really it makes it even more of a threat that just lingers rather than just a one and done deal. I'd say our next pick, yeah, Calyrex is definitely gonna stay as well. Astral Barrage, Psyshock, Trick, Nasty Plot. We're gonna go with the Scarf set this time. Like the Trick with Sash didn't really make a lot of sense, but like I really didn't want to have to trick the Scarf if I wanted to Nasty Plot up, but I guess it's fine. I honestly, I'm very mixed about the Scarf Trick strat, but I'd say right now that will be really fun to use. Marshadow, no, we don't need Marshadow. We'll go with Kyogre. I feel like Kyogre pairs a lot better with Xerneas. That's the whole reason why I run Thunder on Xerneas, is so that because Rain will be up, so then that the strong electric move will always be hitting. So of course we're gonna run Thunder on our own Kyogre as well, and the extremely strong Water Spout. And just in case like we get our Kyogre's losing HP, we still want a strong stab, so we're gonna go with Origin Pulse. Yeah, this actually is a good EV set. It's definitely the special sweeper EV set, so Kyogre's gonna be really strong and really powerful upon switch in. So yeah, that's actually it for Ubers. There's not a ton of changes. We did have a complete team member change, much like we did with OU, but I think just the little tweaks goes really far. UU. So UU, this is where we're like, these are still very common formats, but I do think that there are some things that we need to update because this was made without keeping in mind the tier shift. So now I think we just want to reset this one. We're just going to make a completely new UU team because Scizor is now legal down here, which is huge. Scizor is actually just, it's super strong. I don't know what else you want me to say. It's strong. It gets Bullet Punch, so Bullet Punch is great for priority. Knockoff is always just good to have. Roost for longevity, and U-turn, because U-turn is not only stab, it's also an easy way for Scizor to get out. I don't like this EV set they're giving me. I think I want to go more of a physical sweeper EV set. We're gonna go with Adamant because I'd rather just hit super duper hard and still have about as much speed as the Scizor can have with being max speed. I can also, this also makes it so I can slow turn on opposing Scizor, and I can decently take it, not well, but it's better than fast turn in my opinion. We're gonna go with Zygarde 10 next. Zygarde 10 is actually, it's very fast. It's so fast, and I always run Banded because Power Construct's banned, so it always has to be Aura Break. But I'd say Banded Zygarde 10 definitely hits a lot harder than you would think from this little doggo. So Outrage for Dragon Stab, E-Speed if for whatever reason I'm getting outsped, or if they try to be a bullet punching Scizor. And then, you know, Toxic. No, actually no, we don't want, I just realized we're banded, so we don't actually want to do that. We want to run Superpower just for that extra coverage. We are going to go with the physical sweeper set, with definitely going into speed, because this is a very fast boy, so we definitely would like to have all the speed and hit as hard as we can. We're gonna go with Chansey next because we need a more defensive Mon, because with these two we just have a lot of physical offense. I do think we need some defense as well. We basically run whatever Chansey runs: Seismic Toss, Soft Boiled, Toxic Stealth Rock. Toxic Stealth Rock, yep. And this EV set looks good because we want our bulky Chansey to just basically just be a tank. Switch in when we need it to, and Toxic won't be doing much good against it because of Natural Cure. And it'll be an easy way to get up rocks as well. So yeah, this is definitely going to be our defensive stall Pokemon on the team. Salamence. Salamence is cool. Salamence is also very good in this tier. It's very strong, and it's not, I don't think Dragonite's legal down here, so that's why Mence is what we're going with. Intimidate is just way too good to pass up. Roost, Flamethrower easily for Scizor. Scizor gets destroyed by Flamethrower. Defog in case they want hazards. Dual Wing Beat for Stab. We already have the Dragon Stab with Zygarde 10, so I don't really see why we need it for Salamence. We're gonna go a little bit more bulky, in my opinion. Like, I think a bulky Mence will be good for its longevity, since it already hits pretty hard with that physical attack. So I think bulky Mence will actually be really nice to have. Although I don't like the bold nature. You know, I'm gonna switch some things around. I'm gonna have max HP. We're gonna go with Jolly. Actually, do we want Jolly or Timid? We might actually go Naive. We're actually gonna go with a little bit of an interesting EV set because we are in fact mixed Mence, so we want the max attack and the max speed. and then we'll put the remaining 4 in special attack. There we go. Actually, I actually like this a little bit better because it's like being a sweeper, a physical sweeper, but we have flamethrower, so we don't want to run jolly. So we're instead just gonna run naive since we're not gonna be taking special hits very well anyways. Let's see. Jirachi. Jirachi is super duper annoying to play against. So I definitely would like to see some Jirachi play. Item. I don't know what to run on this Jirachi. Like Jirachi's cool, but I don't know a ton about it other than flinch hacks. So we're just gonna kind of figure this out. We'll go Scarf Jirachi. I think we'll do the trick Scarf strat if we really need to, and we'll go Wish Protect as well. So that turn 1 we can cripple something, and then we can just enjoy ourselves by clicking Iron Head, and they will flinch a majority of the time. So we're gonna go like this and Jolly. Yeah, that's a nice Jirachi. I think. Oh, people are gonna get so mad at this. These Showdown people are really salty as well. So seeing flinch Jirachi will just make everyone's day. Make everyone's day. All right, Toga Kiss. Why not? Why not add to this almost toxicity? I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but that's all right. This is what I believe is optimal, and this is what I see as the best team for UU. Is playing with flinch hacks. I think flinch hacks is very good in this meta, where it's a lot less just raw power and more opportunity for fun things like this. I think Heal Bell just for that little bit of utility. Let's go very similar to how we made that Jirachi. We'll do 4 in each defense. Max speed. Yeah, this is very similar to Jirachi, just a little bit more to an extent, if that makes sense. Like, it's less fast, but it's a little bit less HP bulky, but it's a little bit more specially defensive than Jirachi. So yeah, that's gonna be our team for UU. Moving on to RU. I think Flagon's still the best right now. Flagon is really good in RU. Like, this thing's crazy. I will say that I'd rather go Band than Scarf this month, just for raw power. Like, this thing is strong. Stone Edge over U-turn, just because of what the opponent may have. You think that the EVs are still good. I'm gonna reset the rest of the team. I do think that Flagon shall remain, but the rest of the team might need to change. I think we want a Registeel. We definitely want a Registeel right now, because it's look at those defenses. Like, well, you can't go wrong with this. As a defensive Mon, you're gonna have leftovers, and we're gonna run Rocks, Toxic, Body Press, and Protect. Yeah, this will definitely be our defensive Mon of the team. Calm, Max HP and Special Defense. Put the 4 in defense. Yeah, this thing will just be the wall of my opponents. Why did I not save the defense? Just get in there. Get in there. There. See? That's our Registeel. It's just gonna be our wall. It's gonna hit hard if it needs to, but it mostly will kill things with Toxic. Much like the way this is set up. Umbreon. I think Umbreon's nice. It'll be similar to Registeel, but I think that it'll be more of a healer rather than just a defensive stallmon. I think it'll be sufficient as a healer. So, and also we'll definitely be able to deal more damage to Pokemon that are crazy strong in the tier. Heal Bell. Yeah, this is Umbreon's gonna be our cleric. Like if we need health, then Umbreon will be the way to go. We'll also make it specially defensive. I know I said Flygon is the strongest and the physical attacker, and we're adding a lot of special defense. But honestly, Registeel dies to Flygon anyways, so that's not really why. It's more just for everything else. And Umbreon will remain to be our cleric, even with like similar EVs. Like it has a similar role to Registeel, but I feel like Registeel is more of like the stall defensive wall, while Umbreon comes in if something is in need of health. Weezingale. I think Weezingale it's actually pretty good. I actually think Levitate is better in a singles scenario. I think neutralizing gas works a lot better in doubles. Black Sludge, so that in case we get tricked for whatever reason, then they won't be able to heal, which would be the alternative if we are running leftovers. Wisp, Pain Split, we want Defog, and let's go Strange Team, just a little bit of stab, and this will be our physical defensive mon. And like I said, it has that ground immunity, so it can be used against Flygon if you really needed to. Yeah, so this will be our physical defensive Pokemon. Like, we got special defense, we got physical defense, and we got a cleric, and then just our sweeper. Like, so far this is a very brought together team. Let's go with Roserade. Roserade is nice. We do want Natural Cure, just in case of, I don't know, burn, paralysis. We'll do the same thing that we did with Weezingale, Black Sludge. It will be more poison based, unlike Weezingale, so we'll go Sludge Bomb. Spikes, in case we need them, on top of the Stealth Rocks that Registeel are setting. So this is Sleep Powder, just to be annoying, you know? That's what Roserade's here for. It's for that poison stab, putting to sleep. Yeah, this team is a lot more defensive based than the UU team for sure. We're gonna go with Calm. Yeah, that's a good Roserade. Let's see, the final Pokemon, best team for RU, will be Reuniclus. This will definitely be our special sweeper. Like, Flygon's our physical sweeper, Reuniclus will be our special sweeper. Magic Guard, it's again for no toxic. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. I'm doing this on the fly in case you can't tell. Because this video's been in production for forever, and I've been procrastinating it for too long. So we're just getting into it. We're just making the team. We're gonna have an Energy Ball sweeper. I know this is kind of weird, but as you can see, like, Umbreon would just wall this thing if it didn't have the ability. Now it kind of, like, the poison types will kind of be a problem, but like not really. I'd be surprised if anybody switched in a poison type against the psychic type Reuniclus. Excuse me. So I think it's really funny that it's like basically like a bait. Like, until they realize that I don't actually have any psychic move, they'll be scared to go into any poison types, and instead I'll just surprise them with Energy Ball, and they'll be like, ah. And it'll be kind of funny. It'll be pretty funny. And then, like, just the acid armor just prevent getting swept by something like Flygon. And we're gonna go with Bold, just to be even more defensive. And yeah, that's the team. Oops, that's the team for RU, because I don't think any of this got banned. There's no tier shift this month, so I don't see why anything like that would have gotten banned. NU, these Pokemon are not great. I must say. Once we get down to NU, then like it starts to be like, oh, this Pokemon's not good. But at least they get to shine down in the tiers, like in the tier that's made for them. So in this tier, Rotom is the defining Pokemon, and it's a special sweeper. This set I have here is actually the set I like and will be keeping. And I do think Vaporeon also shall remain on the team. Water Absorb Leftovers is good. Skull, yeah, it's basically like the Cleric that we had for RU, which was in the form of Umbreon. It's just now a water type and slightly different stats. We are going to be changing this EV spread, however. I do think that I can optimize it a little bit more. We're gonna make it more specially defensive now, and 216 defense and 40 special defense. I do think that is a lot more balanced in the case. Like, I don't think Vaporeon's taking physical hits as well as it could. But then again, the power level's a lot low down here, so that definitely gives Vaporeon the advantage. Talonflame, I believe, shall also remain on the team. Roost, Brayberry, Will-O-Wisp, and Turn. Yes, Boots, because it's 4 times weak to Rocks. So if anybody had gotten Rocks and you're not running Boots, then that's a half HP Talonflame. We do not want that at all. The EVs I actually like. I like the EVs. I think this is definitely fast enough to outspeed pretty much everything except for maybe opposing Talonflames. And just that little bit of bulk can go a long ways in its survival. I do think I want to change the second half of the team fully. We're gonna go with Silvally Ground. Like, I had Mudsdale in there last month, but I do think that Silvally Ground is a little bit better. Simply because multi-attack just does so much damage. Especially after a Swords Dance, which we're gonna need because this is gonna definitely be our physical sweeper. Like, we have our special sweeper of Rotom. Our physical sweeper will be Silvally Ground. Let's see, we want Rock Slide, because Rock Slide's good for coverage, and then Flame Charge to get that extra speed that will be used in a physical sweeper like this. Like, Silvally Ground is honestly a very decent Pokemon. I think it's the second best Silvally, alongside Silvally Steel. Yeah. I know I just deleted Copperajah, but I want it back. This is one of the cases where I think Heavy Metal is better than Sheer Force, because Copperajah is crazy heavy already. So adding that even extra weight makes a lot of those weight-based moves do even more damage. Like, we want it alive longer, so we're gonna have it leftovers. Power Whip for coverage and taking care of things like Vaporeon and the Silvally. Well, it would be catching the switch in of Silvally Ground. But Rocks, Heavy Slam, and Heat Crash. Yeah, weight-based moves. These are going to be base power 120 unless you're facing another Copperajah. So that's going to be really nice. We are going to give it a little bit of weird EVs, just to keep your opponents guessing, because they'll never expect to have 156 HP. So if you can do this in your matches as well, then you'd definitely be slipping your opponents up, and it'd be really funny if we made this meta and made it so your opponent has to expect it. Let's see, last team member shall be Indeedee female. Just cause, why not? We're gonna have it be our Scarfer. We already have, technically Rotomo's our Scarfer as well, but it's a trick Scarfer. I think we'll have Indeedee also be a Trick Scarfer? Well, no, we'll just have to be straight up a Scarfer. Why not? Expanding Force, Mystical Fire, Dazzling Gleam, and Hyper Voice. So yeah, this will be it'll be another special sweeper, but it will be more of it'll be more of the role of a Scarfer, just because Rotomo will be our Trick Scarfer, and everything else is more just for cover. So Indeedee, if you want to outspeed your opponent, then Indeedee can do the job, and Expanding Force under Psychic Surge is pretty dang strong. So that's gonna be it for NU. We're now moving on to PU, where there's a reason the tier is called PU. PU, they stink. We are gonna move Charizard to the front. I actually do think that Charizard has really been optimized lately. Like before, it was just kind of sort of used, but now I definitely think it's the best Pokemon in the tier. We're actually going with a Toxic Charizard set, just for fun, and I think Flamethrower is more reliable than Fire Blast, so we'll switch that. We're gonna go a little bit more defensive on the Charizard, just to be safe. Like Charizard is really not all that bulky at all, so and nobody's gonna expect Toxic Charizard, alright? So I honestly think that would be really hilarious, because Charizard's basically Pokemon's second mascot, so having Toxic in there would just be really, really funny. I think Regirock would be a good Pokemon to keep on this team, just because it's so defensive. It is crazy defensive. So I do think the set is pretty good for the most part. Goodness. And it's honestly not gotten a ton of attention right now. I think people are starting to cycle it out of their usage. So, and honestly, I like Regirock. I think it's a cool Pokemon. So let's keep Regirock relevant. That's the theme of today. Let's keep Regirock relevant. I do think that this EV set is good because we don't really need much more than this defense. Like this defense is already crazy high. So I think we can add that just little bit of investment to live those special hits a little bit better. Moving on, Togedemaru is no longer the best Pokemon in the tier, but I do think that Togedemaru is still very, very good. Lightning Rod still manages to trip people up in PU, since PU is not very commonly played, so the players are, I'd say, less skilled. But yeah, the set's good, the EVs are good. Yeah, I like Togedemaru. Togedemaru's a little bit silly, and it's really fun to play. We're going to be changing the second half of the team. So we are going to be adding Scrafty. Scrafty, okay, it has Moxie and Intimidate. How is it in this tier so low? Well, actually, Shed Skin is the most optimal Scrafty play, which is crazy. Like these three abilities are all so good, yet this Pokemon suffers so much because it doesn't really hit very hard, nor is it very strong. But Shed Skin just makes it so it won't die. Like if you try to Toxic, it'll just forever live. And like Drain Punch, more health. Rest, more health. Bulk Up, it can sweep you and also be harder to kill. Like this Scrafty's gonna be super annoying to play against. With that max HP, little bit of attack, and max special defense, and we'll go with Calm. Or not Calm, sorry, Careful. I've got to be careful when choosing these because we don't need a special attack. Yeah, Scrafty's actually good. It just hates fairies, and that's probably why it's so low, because all the other tiers have a big, large threat that's fairy type. I mean, this tier has It has Sylveon, I suppose, but I don't know. I don't even know if Sylveon's legal down there, but we need Gigalith. Just a strong defensive Pokemon. Just to have on the team, you know? I think adding Sand will also be really helpful, especially since Regirock and Togedemaru do not mind Sand at all. Scrafty doesn't really matter, neither does Charizard. But Gigalith is also very good to be a Charizard counter. Because like I said, Charizard's a defining Pokemon in the tier right now, so we definitely are going to need a hard counter to the best Pokemon in the tier. So Rock Blast will destroy a Charizard. And also Rocks, in case for whatever reason the Charizard's not wearing boots. But then it's also just useful for all the other Pokemon. Protect, just for scouting. I do like this EV spread. Yes, this is very nice. This thing will be crazy slow, so keep that in mind. It will pretty much always move second. But having the Rocks and Earthquake and Protect, just very, 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 very helpful. Let's add Quagsire. Why not add Quagsire? Quagsire is so polarizing. It's so good at countering good Pokemon, but at the same time it really sucks. I don't understand how a Pokemon it's unaware of how polarizing it is now. I'm just kidding. That's not why we're running Unaware. It's just that Unaware is a good ability. It makes it so you can't get beaten by a sweeper. Boots just for longevity reasons. Recover, once again, just like it's a basic defensive Pokemon set. Curse to basically make it last even longer on the field, and Earthquake just for that stat. Max HP, max defense, and 4 special defense. Impish. And yeah, that's it for PU. I don't know how long this video has been going on for. Let's see, we are 30 minutes in. That's fine. That's fine. It's gonna be a long video anyways. So let's move on to Little Cup. Little Cup's goofy because all the Pokemon are level 5, and it's like you're basically just fighting with babies. It's really, really strange. But it's also a really, really fun format because it's a lot more offensive than a lot of these other formats we've been talking about. And like everything runs EVO-Lite, as you can tell. But Miitfu is still the defining Pokemon right now. Regenerator, in case you need to switch out this tiny boy. Knockoff turn, high jump kick, fake out, yes. This is the EV spread we want. Yeah, Miitfu's just really strong. High jump kick, a 130 base move on these tiny amounts of HP. Look at how small that is. It's just really good and really strong. Pawniard is in a similar case. Berry Juice is just so that it basically fully heals when it gets below half HP. Defiant is crazy good on a Pokemon, on a tier that's more offensive and less defensive. It's crazy. It just makes it so this thing does crazy amounts of damage. I'll definitely say Knockoff over Iron Head. But both are crazy good. Stealth Rock is good for Stealth Rock's just always good. Just in general, it's always good. I do like these EVs. They definitely fit. Coughing will also remain on the team. Neutralizing Gas is actually really helpful in this case because like Defiant is just crazy good, and so then Coughing just makes it so Defiant is no longer occurring. So Coughing is just neutralizing Gas is pretty much why Coughing is good in this tier. So as I was saying, Coughing is crazy good because of neutralizing Gas and basically just nullifying Defiant on Pawniard, and honestly Arena Strap on Diglett as well. So Nullifying abilities is a lot more important in a tier where the power level is relatively high, especially in comparison to defensive levels. Speaking of defensive levels, we're going to need as defensive of a Pokemon as it gets down here. So we're going to be adding Ferroseed. Baby Ferrothorn. Like, is this thing still legal? I'm pretty sure it is, but if it's not, that'd be a little bit awkward, but knockoff, T-Wave, Giga Drain, Stealth Rock. I think that's just, it's super good. It's super good. It's as defensive as it gets. So, like, the 91 base defense is actually really strong down in a tier where nothing is strong. 84, 228, and relaxed. So, Ferroseed, like I said, Grass Steel is just crazy good typing, so it is legal. Okay, good. It's gonna be able to take hits all day. It's gonna be able to take such strong hits, and also Iron Barbs, which is very, very good in any scenario, especially against these physical attackers that are roaming throughout the tier. Natu is actually very, very good as well, thanks to Magic Bounce, and Magic Bounce basically makes it so no rocks, no seeds, no T-Waves, no nothing. So Natu, very, very good for status control. So Eviolite, good. Eviolite is just, like I said, if you haven't noticed, Eviolite is run on almost everything except for the Berry Juice Pawniard, which is simply because it doesn't take hits well at all anyways. So we just like basically make it so it just like try again, heal up. So Natu, we're gonna go with Heat Wave, Psychic, Roost, and Turn, so that this thing will just like, it'll just never die. Like it already has pretty even offenses. I mean, honestly, in terms of how different every stat is, it's not by very much. So let's go with this EV spread and Timid. Alright. Well, this bold decreases attack as well. So yeah, no, we'll just go with this. The turns don't have to be very strong. They just need to be used as a way out. Then we finally have our Arena Trapper Diglett, because Arena Trapper is legal down in Little Cup, in contrast to literally everywhere else. So Arena Trap Diglett, super duper strong. I do think that Eviolite is better on Diglett right now. It's been constantly switching to be like a more offensive based Diglett, but I think times do change. So I do think that like Eviolite Diglett is still worth using right now. We're gonna go with them basically like 236 in Little Cup is basically max, because if you add more EVs, then it just doesn't do anything because you're so low leveled that you're not getting any stronger. So yeah, that's it for Little Cup. It's a very fun tier. Would definitely recommend playing it. Monotype. These teams I change a lot, but I'd say right now Mono Steel is what is really good right now. So Mono Steel, starting with Celesteela, with Flamethrower, Seeds. Actually no, I have a better idea. We'll go Mono Flying. We're changing it up. We want Celesteela as our best Mon still. This set will still remain. These EVs we'll just switch the nature to Sassy. And for defense, max special defense. Yeah, okay. this will be our Celesteela set, and we're gonna go with mono flying. We're changing things up because we want to take great use of land OT. Most of the time, mono steel is the best, but I'd say mono flying definitely comes in clutch in sometimes. And we are going to be playing with a much more interesting mono flying right now. This is very similar to our OU set, but I think knock off. I think rocks are more important on Lando because there's not a lot of rock setting as a flying type. We'll definitely go a little bit more defensive. We'll go impish. All right. Yeah, this is a good Landorus. I think this combination will definitely make flying types. Yeah, see, now the team is confirmed to be mono flying. So now we want to add a sweeper. We want Dragonite. Dragonite and multi-scale, D-Dance, EQ, extreme speed, and roost, because we want our health if we can have it. Boots, physical sweeper, but we want it to be faster, so we'll go Jolly. Yeah, this, like, Dragonite can definitely sweep through whole teams with Earthquake and E-Speed. Like, it really depends on what the opponent plays, obviously, like what type. So as you can tell, ground type is super good because it's super effective against the most types alongside fighting. But like ground is just, to me, it's against more common types than what fighting is super effective against. Zapdos Galar. Zapdos Galar, it has Defiant. That's what I'm saying. That Defiant is such a good ability. We'll have it be our Scarfer, so that it's able to outspeed a majority of pretty much everything that your opponent may have. So Turn, Bird, CC, and Stomping Tantrum. Stomping Tantrum, it's that ground coverage and also close combat. So now we have those. We have a ton of offensive potential with just Zapdos Galar itself. I know I'm not doing a ton of explaining since it's a little bit later in the video and this video is already really long. Tornadus Therian. It's got so much utility. I don't know what else to say. It's crazy diverse. So with this Tornadus T set, what we are going to do is we're probably gonna run Boots, like we do with a lot with these other flying types. Like, yeah, we'll go Boots. We'll make it really fun to play. So we'll go Nasty Plot, Focus Blast, Heat Wave. Yes, this is definitely good coverage. It will be our special sweeper, physical sweeper, special sweeper, Scarfer. I think those are definitely three very essential roles. And then we got our more defensive special wall Celesteela, physical wall Lander T. It's all coming together. So basically what we do with our last slot is we go with our utility Pokemon Corviknight. Corviknight is basically here to just be another wall, first of all, but also to easily get the hazards up. And Corviknight can sweep entire teams if put under the right conditions. Because once again, fun move called Body Press. Body Press is so good. It was such a blessing for defensive Pokemon back when it was first introduced. But like, it's so good. It's just so good. I know I've said that a lot this video because these are the best teams, so that's why I keep saying that everything is very good, because I'm making these teams as optimal as possible. So yeah, that is our best team for Monotype for this month. We got a lot of formats to go still, so let's try to speed this up. 1v1. 1v1's interesting because you only build a team of 3, and your and you only send in one. Like that's the point of 1v1. I'm going to say that leftovers, it will be more useful on Feeny right now. We're going to completely change the set. Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Moon Blast, Draining Kiss, so we can have healing if we very much need to. We are changing these EVs completely as well. We are going to go with Bold, not Bashful, Bold, 244, 56, take that all out and go to 208 in speed. So we can definitely have a much more you can't kill me for Tapu Fini rather than the flat out sweeper. I'm going to change the other two members, I believe. I want Landorus Incarnate because this thing is legal down in 1v1. Probably because if you get paired up with something with an ice move, you die. Which basically you just kind of hope that your opponent, if your opponent doesn't have any sort of ice coverage, then like Lando is super good and will likely win the 1v1. Obviously we're going with Sheer Force and Life. We'll go Specs just for pure power. So then let's get some Sheer Force boosted moves. The Power Sludge Waves, Psychic, Focus Blast. Focus Blast I don't think is, oh no, it is Sheer Force boosted. It's all Sheer Force boosted because it's so crazy good. Where this is a little bit too basic for my liking. We don't need the max speed. We do want that bit of power, but also just some defense in case. Because we only need to take one hit, really. And if we can take that one hit, then even with 318 special attack, I think we should be able to take the opponent out. We are gonna have Zera Aura back. Zera Aura is also crazy good in 1v1s. Just simply because of raw power and Volt Absorb. We'll go with Assault Vest to essentially almost guarantee that we won't die in one hit to a special attack and give us a chance to fire back with any of our coverage moves. We just want a little bit of HP, lots of power, lots of special defense, so we can once again take some. 336 still outspeeds a lot, so I think that's what we're rolling with. And that was a fast one with 1v1s because there's only 3 of them. So that's nice, that's nice. Anything Goes. Anything Goes is basically just Ubers with Zacian Crown. Like, that's basically what it is. And it's a little bit less, there's no clauses, so you can do a lot more cheeky strategies. If you really wanted, you could have a full team of 6 of the same Pokemon. But why would we do that? Like, there's no point. Oblivion Wing to me, oh, there's also Dynamax. That's important, that in Anything Goes, Dynamax is illegal, which is why we're going with Oblivion Wing and why we didn't bother to put a flying move on the Uber Yveltal. And we're also gonna go mild. Is because Max Airstream is allowing for speed boost, and speed is so important in competitive battling. So Oblivion Wing will be used so that if we Dynamax our Yveltal, then it will be getting boosted speed and just get stronger and stronger as it goes. Rocky Helmet I feel like is more optimal on Duskmane Necrozma in this tier because of Zacian, obviously, but there's a lot more there's a lot more value in contact moves in Anything Goes, so there's a lot more value in getting that chip damage from contact moves. We're gonna move that last 4 to attack just because we don't need that extra point. I think we'd rather have it in offense. Calyrex Shadow is a lot more important than it was last month. We are going to stick with the Sash, and we don't usually go with the Trick Scarf set, simply because it's a lot riskier in a higher power tier. And also the Nasty Plot is super duper strong and can even take out Dynamax Pokemon if boosted enough. And the Draining Kiss is simply for, once again, more health. And also, having more coverage is always just better in a meta with Dynamax. Okay, here's the big boy, Zacian Crowned. This thing is ridiculous. I don't think I really need to get into how ridiculous it is. Just look at that attack stat and speed, and then its ability Intrepid Sword, which boosts your attack to +1 upon switch in, which is completely ridiculous. There's a reason why this thing's not even legal in Ubers. And the set that I have here, I believe, is the best way to run it. Like, there's so much coverage. You can't Dynamax this thing because of its form, but Behemoth Blade basically makes it act like a Dynamax Pokemon because it's dealing double the damage to Dynamax Pokemon. So it can basically, it has the power of a Dynamax Pokemon. It's just crazy. This thing's stupid. So I don't want to play with Eternatus this month. I do think that Kyogre, actually, I'll wait on Eternatus. I for sure want Kyogre, is the point. So the Scarf Kyogre is much more useful. Once again, the speed is greater and the power is greater, so more speed is more valued. And there isn't really much room for sweepers that aren't Dynamax users. That's why Xerneas is not really occurring, and also Zacian Crowned destroys Xerneas. Yeah, I'll keep Eternatus. Eternatus is still strong. We're gonna go with Boots though, just for longevity. The set is good. The EVs are good. Yeah, that's it for anything goes, because basically the tier with Zacian and Dynamaxing. So basically I just made very similar to Ubers with a few changes. Now let's go to the other end of the section, ZU. These Pokemon are so terrible that they have their own tier. And we're going to completely change this team. I'm on a completely different set of terrible Pokemon to play with. So we're gonna go with Quillfish. I think Quillfish is the best thing. Because Intimidate is still allowed down here, even though Quillfish is by far from the best user of it. Let's see, Poison Gem. Yeah, the part of what makes Quillfish so terrible. Look at these stats, first of all. Second of all, like, this move pool is not the best. But we'll work with what we have. Poison Jab, Spikes, Pain Split, Taunt. Yeah, it's hitting. Quillfish is trying his best. So we'll go with a max defense and a little bit of speed. And there we go. Bam. Here's our Quillfish. And what better to go along with Quillfish than an Alolan Persian? Persian, it's actually, we can make this thing, yeah, like Fur Coat just makes it so it's a little bit more defensive than it already is. It's not very defensive to begin with, so it kind of needs this defensive boost so that it has a chance of surviving. Parting Shot is its main purpose, to just cripple the already super low power of this tier. Yeah, it's definitely a much more defensive set. Taunt will be very, very useful in the tier that we are playing in. We are going to go with that max HP or nearly max HP, speed, a little bit of special defense, timid, because we're not using our attack stat, we're using our opponent's attack stat, so the lowering attack does not really matter at all. Moving on, let's add Colossal. This thing's really bad, I think, because of its weakness. It's 4 times weakness to water. We'll go with Flame Body, so that burn the opponent. Boots. We need as much HP as we can get on this team, so we definitely want the boots. We want Rapid Spin to get rid of any hazards, but Stealth Rock so we can put hazards on their side. Stone Edge, Heat Crash. This thing is pretty heavy, so Heat Crash will be very, very strong, or as strong as it can be. We'll go a little bit more defensive. and relaxed, because this thing has no speed anyways. Moving on, Licky Licky. This thing is also terrible, much like everything else in this tier. So Licky Licky though is it's a decent diverse normal type, so at least gives us options. And options, we need as many options as we can get. So Licky Licky will definitely be helping us out in getting those options out. We want Oblivious so that we're immune to that Quillfish Intimidate. Leftovers because we want just, we'll go with a Wish Protect set. Like just this thing out of everything will be our Cleric, and Body Slam and Heal Bell. Yeah, diverse normal type Licky Licky will be our Cleric. It'll be kind of funny. Like Umbreon at least like looks like a Cleric. Same with like Evolutions seem like they would be a Cleric Pokemon, but nobody expects Licky Licky. It's licking you to heal you. Sableye. This thing is really bad with its Mega. Like just in general, this thing is so bad. Like its stats are just so sad. Like, look at those base stats. Not a single one above 75. And 75 is already not that great. So we can help Sableye out. We can give him some attention, and hopefully he's good down here with Prankster. Leftovers, because once again, staying alive is good. Recover. It'll definitely be our burn setter. Knockoff. Taunt, because taunt is important down in the lower tiers where we have to rely on Toxic for good damage, because nothing down here does good damage. Why did I write 262? It's 252. Anyways. Careful. Special defense. Yeah, and Sableye is also decent while having only one weakness to Fairy. Fairies are almost nowhere to be seen down in this entire tier, because everything's so bad that, like, well, let's add one of the few fairies that is down here to the team. Wigglytuff. Yeah, Wigglytuff's not very good at all, but who is good down in ZU? Like, literally this team that we're making is the best team for ZU. So if that doesn't tell you of how like bad this tier is, then I don't know what will. Frisk. We like to see what item our opponent has, and we're gonna have leftovers. Like pretty much 4 out of 6 of our Pokemon on this team have leftovers, because we want them to live as long as they possibly can. We'll have a similar role as Licky Licky, but the Gleam will be very nice to have, and we'll also have an extra Rock Setter in case anything happens with Colossal. I'd say we'll go with the nearly max HP to make it super bulky. Oops, 252, and a little bit of defense. Yeah, I think the problem with Wigglytuff is that it's such high HP but really low defenses, really contrasts with each other, so that it doesn't really make an overall bulky Pokemon. But yeah, that's the best team for ZU. So let's move on to Cap, which is basically the custom Pokemon tier. We'll definitely be using a mix of custom and not custom Pokemon. Although I'd say this team just needs a reset, because I don't really like... I'm not agreeing with what the best Pokemon in the tier is. It's Ferrothorn. Like, Ferrothorn is good in everywhere it's legal, just because of its typing goes well together, and it's very defensive. What's like, obviously I was about to say what's not to like about Ferrothorn, but that's the point. It's not liked because it won't die. We'll say Impish, max HP, max special defense. No, I actually will just do 4 in special defense and max defense. Good. Physical defense of Ferrothorn. What else is new? Let's add a Lando T, because Lando T is still good even in a format of customs. We want leftovers, intimidate as always. We're gonna go a very similar set to our OU. But we are gonna change the EVs a little bit. For 12. Careful. Tapu Lele. I know right now we're not using a lot of custom Pokemon, but like these Pokemon are so good that they're just good in a tier where even custom Pokemon exist. Like these Pokemon will still be towards the top. We'll have Lele be our Scarf user, Moonblast, Psyshock, Psychic, and Focus Blast. Oops, Focus Blast. And we'll have it be our Special Sweeper. We got Physical Wall, whatever the heck Lando does, pretty much everything, and then Special Sweeper. Is that Blacephalon? Blacephalon seems like it'd be fun to use down in this custom Pokemon tier. Like I said, I still haven't added a single custom Pokemon to the tier. Sometimes I make entirety of best cap teams, and they still won't have a single custom Pokemon. We'll have it be a Scarf user as well. Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, not Flame Charge, Flamethrower, Trick, and Psychic. Physical or Special Sweeper set. Dragonite. I don't know. I haven't really decided if I want to use a custom Pokemon yet. I think for now we'll build our team and go from there, because like custom Pokemon I don't know a ton about. We're actually gonna go with the weakness policy Dragonite. Because the Dragon Claw and Fire Punch. Just for more coverage of what is good down here. We would like to be jolly. Alright, last Pokemon. Finally, let's add a custom Pokemon. Let's add Commodore. Like, this thing is, like these abilities, they're so good. It's a Steel Flying type too, which is great typing. Commodore. I believe this was the only custom Pokemon I've used in the last month as well. But, dude, I'm having a hard time deciding what I want to do with it though, because it's crazy good. We'll go with Citrus Berry, just for longevity. Volt Absorb, so that it's one less weakness and more health. It's a Belly Drum Sweeper, which is, and then Acrobatics, so that's why we have Citrus Berry, so that can do even more flying stab damage. It also gets Bullet Punch. Like look at this. This thing's a beast. And yep, that's the EVs we want. And yeah, that's it for custom Pokemon. Basically, I built like a mostly normal team around it, and then used Commodore as a Belly Drum Sweeper. Battle Stadium Singles. This is basically playing online singles. Dynamax is legal. You pick 3 Pokemon, and you do a single battle with them. Battle Stadium Singles is, I don't really know how to feel with it. It's okay. Zacian's legal, and we all know how great and strong Zacian is. So of course we're going to be using it. I'm going to tone down its HP investment a little bit to get that little extra bit more speed. But yeah, Zacian's stupid strong, so of course we're using it. Zapdos, Hurricane, Roost. We're actually going to go with Heat Wave, so we can take care of opposing Zacian, and Thunder Wave for paralysis reasons. I know there's no electric stab, but we need that coverage for Zacian. Zacian's just too good. We're gonna change the rest of the team though. And also something about Battle Stadium Singles is I believe you can only have 2 restricted Pokemon. Kyogre is actually legal. because like it's a restricted Pokemon. So Kyogre will be our other restricted Pokemon. You should always use Zacian in every month, every team. Just wherever Zacian's legal, you should use it. The other restricted Pokemon can kind of be switched around, but I'd say Kyogre is the best one right now. As you saw, I used Yveltal last month, but I think that Kyogre is a little bit better right now. We're gonna go with a Scald and Ice Beam. Sheer Cold is legal down here, but I feel like to me it's too gimmicky. It's not really worth playing. Timid. Better make sure Kyogre's actually legal. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is legal. So next we will add Lando, because Landorus is not part of the restricted list. The restricted list is like box legendaries. So Landorus T it's basically like a super duper strong legendary, but it doesn't have to count as one, so you get to use it anyways. Fly is very good because Dynamax is legal, and you can get that max Airstream with a decent amount of power. We're just going to switch that 4 to HP. And yeah, that's actually it for Landorus. Let's add Chansey. I think Chansey is really good down here in basically in-game online. But we're playing it on Showdown because it's easier. Soft boiled. It's running like a pretty standard Chansey, but we're gonna go with Thunder Wave. I feel like Paralysis is very, very good on a meta with Dynamax, because if a Dynamax turn is wasted on a fully paralyzed, that's huge, because every turn of Dynamax is like a Super Saiyan turn. I believe Pheromosa is not. Pheromosa is banned in most competitive formats, and so using an unrestricted Pheromosa is actually like really, really good. Because like Pheromosa struggles in Ubers because like nothing's restricted as far as what you choose basically. But in a partially restricted setting where Pheromosa doesn't count as one of the restricted mons, then it's super, super good. So that's why it will be used on this best team. And it's crazy strong and crazy fast. So yeah, and because nature is a modifier, or actually no, I think it will get attack boosts every time it. Oh, item clause. That's right. Sorry. So we're not actually running Sash. We're running. Oh, we already have Life Orb in use. So actually, let's run Sash. I think Lando can be run a little bit better. Let's see. What's another good item for Lando? Because I know Sash is definitely more important to have on Pheromosa. Lando runs like everything, so we'll go with Citrus, because I think we're not using Citrus right now. Yeah, perfect. Yep, that's a valid team for Battle Stadium singles. Moving on to doubles. We just have a couple of doubles formats, and then I'll finally end off the video. This video is already really, really long, but I'm really trying to work with I'm really trying to make it so I don't have to make too many parts of these, but I probably will anyways. So doubles OU, Rillaboom is still what is ruling down there. AV, I'd say we'll turn over Grassy Glide. You know, they're both equally as good. Woodhammer in case either the Surge goes down, or you feel you'll outspeed anyways and you want to hit a little bit harder. The EVs are sufficient. So let's actually change the rest of the team. We're gonna have a little bit different. So we're gonna go with Mew. Mew is so diverse. We're gonna Citrus Berry. Mew is so diverse. So we're gonna have Tailwind, Break Room because priority still goes in for Boom. Fake Out and Imprison for anybody else who has Tailwind for whatever reason. Opposing Muse, really. We can basically just EV it equally across its 2 defenses and max its HP. So that's almost equally balanced. It's basically because of nature of why it's a little bit more physical. Yeah, this Mew is definitely our utility mon for doubles. Incineroar. For those who play VUC, you know why we are playing with Incineroar. Intimidate is great, and Fire Dark is an amazing typing, although we still want Boots. Fake Out, Flare Blitz, Knockoff, and then Parting Shot. Parting Shot is super good in doubles because it basically is like forcing a switch out. We're gonna have a little bit of strange EVs. Once again, just keep your opponents on your toes. Be careful. Yeah, that seems like a sufficient Incineroar set. Zygarde. Zygarde is legal down here. Like its 50% form is, it's strong. Like there's a reason. Like most of these things are banned in singles, and so when they're not in doubles, you want to take advantage. You want to take advantage of what is legal, and like obviously it's not as like overpowered as it would be in singles, but it's still strong. And I still would recommend taking as much advantage of the full set of Pokemon you are given. Volcanion is actually very useful in doubles because of it's got good spread moves. It has well, Steam Eruption's not a spread move, but it's just good at all. But then Heat Wave is very nice, and it's a good protect sub user. Because it won't die very easily. Like it's got some solid defenses, and I think primarily though it will be used as a special sweeper in case your opponent, if your opponent gets like, if you're stuck with sub Volcanion, then you're not gonna have a very fun time. And Kyurem Black is legal down in doubles OU simply because you're more likely to get KO'd in a tier like this, so like raw power is not enough to necessarily keep you getting getting banned. So Fusion Bolt, Freeze Dry, these are, and Dragon Tail, like these are, it's really hard to take advantage of Kyurem's physical attack if you keep getting destroyed. Like so the raw power is not necessarily enough to get it banned. So we're still gonna use as much of this power as we are capable of. And it's definitely not as good as it is in singles, but that's alright. Damn. Well, I don't really want to Adamant. We might just go Neutral Nature. I think we want Neutral Nature and a little bit of attack so that Dragon Tail has some more power. Neutral 72-40, and we'll go with 32 in special defense and 112. Alright, I think this is a really goofy Kyurem EV spread, and I think that'll be really fun to play and most optimal in doubles OU. Now we got doubles Ubers, which we are allowed to play with Dynamax. So honestly, what I do with doubles Ubers is I try to use as many Gigantamax Pokemon as I can. But we still want to use Kyogre, because Kyogre is crazy strong, as you know. EVs are good. We are going to want to switch the rest of the team, because Kyogre will need Calyrex Shadow. Calyrex Shadow, we want Sash, just in case you only get targeted once. Astral Barrage, Protect. Protect is great in doubles. Expending Force, and Sub. So if your opponent is not punishing you for using Calyrex, you definitely will punish them. Let's see, we want to use Yveltal, because Yveltal is still crazy good in doubles Ubers. Hazards are less important, so we're going to go with Life Orb, because hazards in the grand scheme of things will not be very helpful because everything's just dying. Like, the power level of doubles Ubers is insane, especially considering that Dynamax is legal. So we are going to want to have as much power as possible. See, I don't want to do Adamant because then I'd be lowering Oblivion Wing. So, and then Mild. Let's go with Mild. We're going to change the EVs a little bit then. Excuse me. If we're going to be using Mild, then we're going to want to go 2-2. Not 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 8. And, 8. 28. Good. Good. That definitely would be a good doubles Yveltal set. Moving on to Magearna. Magearna is crazy good in doubles because if you or your opponent or your partner dies, you get a plus special attack boost, which can easily add up, especially on a Pokemon like Magearna, where its special attack is already pretty good. Gleam for spread, Protect, as every double Pokemon should have, Flash Cannon, and Trick Room, so that you boys can have. I know it's kind of contrasting to what the rest of the team is, but I think for me, Trick Room is good if your opponent uses Trick Room, so that you can just reverse that Trick Room. Just be like a no you kind of thing. Decent amount of special attack, max special attack, decent amount of HP, 8 in special defense. We're gonna want to be quiet. I think that's because we don't need speed on, especially if we're gonna be reversing that Trick Room. Let's see. Let's go with a G-Max Rillaboom. I think Rillaboom is already pretty strong, and we don't need to have like the normal Dynamax Grass move because we'll be putting up the Grassy Surge anyways. So we still want Glide though as our primary grass move. Fake Out, U-turn, Knockoff. And let's see, we want to have a max attack, Rave, 88, 168. Okay, I think that is a good Rillaboom. And finally, we want Incineroar, because you can't go wrong with that Intimidate. So, I think I want to make it very similar to our doubles OU set, but not the same. I want Citrus instead of Boots, because like I said, hazards are significantly less useful when the power level is already so high. We still want Parting Shot and Fake Out, Flare Blitz, Knockoff. That's pretty much the same set. We want to be careful. Max HP and a little bit of attack. We'll go with 132 in special defense and 120 in speed. Yeah, that's the best team for doubles Ubers this month. I do think it's very similar to what it was last month, but I like it a little bit more. There's a little bit more offense, and the G-Max Rillaboom still there. and making use of the very, very good Incineroar. Doubles UU. Doubles UU can have some interesting things go on. So, I am going to completely change it though, because I don't really like what I did last month. So, because I want to make a team around Indeedee. Male Indeedee, because female Indeedee is banned. So, male Indeedee, we'll go with Specs set, so that this thing hits stupid hard with Expanding Force, Gleam. We'll be able to trick it, or not trick room, just trick. In case we really don't, in case we want to cripple a defensive Pokemon, because Ferrothorn is fairly common down here. Although I do think its usage is declining. We want to add Tornadus, Incarnate, because of Prankster. Prankster is very, very helpful in doubles to make sure those status moves go through. Air Slash for more reliability, and Hurricane if we, well, no, we don't need Hurricane. We can just have Air Slash and we'll go with Heat Wave. For the coverage, we want the Special Sweeper, and because we're not going to be living very much, we'll go with Sash. Alright. Let's go with Weavile. You know, Weavile's a lot better in singles than in doubles, just because frail Pokemon do not work very well in these settings. So we'll go with Pickpocket, Sash, so that we can gain an item if we are threatened to be one-hit KO'd by a physical move. Fake Out's good, so we'll have that next to that Taunt. Because status moves are everywhere, Beat Up. And the physical Sweeper, EV Spread. Yeah, that's good. Excadrill. Excadrill is, dude, Excadrill is so fun. And it being down here almost makes me sad, but then again, we get to use it down here, so it's only kind of sad, I guess. So Excadrill, we want to run Sash. No, let's go Band. We'll run Sand Rush because I think I want to. So Dynamax is not legal down here, but I will say Sand Rush just because there's got to be a Pokemon that will start up Sandstorm for me. So it'll be funny if that happens. Then I just got super duper fast Excadrill. Okay, we want Rock Slide, EQ, and high horsepower so that we don't hit our opponent if it's somebody other than Tornadus that's in. And EV spread wise, I do think we want the physical Sweeper, Adamant. Yes, okay, good. Blastoise. Blastoise is really, really fun to use in lower tiers. Like, I'm going with a Guava Berry and Rain Dish. We have all these like what if type scenarios. Like we aren't going to be setting any of the weather up ourselves, but we will be having it available. So we're going to have Fake Out, Follow Me, Life Dew, so that we heal our allies, and Scald. We're going to have it be a little bit different. We're going to have I think that's a good EV spread. We're going to be a physical defensive Blastoise. Finally, we will add Dragonite. Dragonite is actually like seen as not very good because like it just kind of gets hit by Nice Move and dies. And in doubles, I'd say Ice is a little bit more important. But we can take advantage and use Weakness Policy. And Fire Punch to take care of those ice types. East Speed, D-Dance, and Dragon Claw. Physical yeah, I think this is a fun team to use. It's more of a what if, because it's also what if can I get into a doubles UU battle, because not very many people play this format at all. So to me, I believe this is the best team. We got 3 more formats to go, and we got an hour and a half into the video. VGC. If a lot of people are probably skipping to this point because VGC is a lot more of a common format. I do think that Incineroar is the most common used Pokemon right now, even more than Zacian Crowned. So the Shuka Berry, because Item Clause is very important, so Shuka Berry will be very, very nice to have, especially with the opponent having much more, like, just paying attention to the restricted Pokemon they have. Zacian, of course, will still be one of our restricted Pokemon because, like I said, if Zacian's legal, use it because it's crazy overpowered. I do think the EVs are good. I like the set. There's not really too much to it. I'm gonna change the rest of the team though because I want to add a different restricted Pokemon number 2. That's gonna be Kyogre. I'm very much into using Kyogre right now. Mystic Water for even more power on that water spout. Origin Pulse is good as well. Ice Beam and Protect. These are all essential moves to have on a Kyogre, especially in VGC when Kyogre's not coming to every battle, but when it does, it's going to hit hard. It's going to destroy teams. Kartana is not on the restricted list, which is crazy because Kartana is so strong, and it gets a boost every time it kills something. So it's going to be, if you bring it, then it could very well sweep your whole team if your opponent does not prepare well. So we're gonna go with an AV set to like hope it lives special attacks in some capacity, even though it probably won't anyways. And also the diversity helps with Dynamaxing. Like, all these moves are super duper good under Dynamax, especially Max Airstream, getting an even fast Kartana, which is even spookier. And we're going to want to run Jolly. Okay, yeah, that's a good Kartana set. Kartana also not being on the ban list is very, very helpful. Tornadus, like I said, we're going to be doing something similar to the set we used in Doubles UU, but we're going to make sure that it's far more optimized. We're going to go Tailwind, Hurricane. Hurricane also pairs very well with Kyogre. Protect, Icy Wind to slow down the opponent. If the opponent is slower, then first of all, it leaves room for Kartana to do sweeps, it leaves room for Kyogre to do sweeps, it leaves room for Zacian to do sweeps. Basically, lowered speed is very, very hard for the opponent to deal with. So that is why Icy Wind will be so good to have. Finally, let's add Regieleki. Regieleki, it's always been good in VGC since its introduction, and I don't see its usage going down. The one issue Eleki really has is its lack of coverage, but I think that'll be okay in the long run. We're going to want to go with Electroweb, Protect, Thunderbolt, and Bounce. Once again, this will make it good under Dynamax, because like I said, Max Airstream. Let's get that out of attack. I don't know. Let's put it into special attack or special defense. Alright, that's good. That should be what we run for VGC. Like this. Very solid team. A lot of legendaries, basically. And then Incineroar. So yeah, that's VGC. Now, move on to 2v2. Which is basically the same as 1v1, but with doubles. So, let's see. We're going to want to keep Dracovish. Dracovish is super strong, can hit super hard. We're going to go with Outrage over Rock Slide, but this set basically covers a lot of Pokemon that you'll be seeing. So that'll be crazy strong. Tyranitar is super duper good in this format. We're gonna go with Banded this time because I think it needs that raw power. We're just gonna switch these moves around. Simply, I think Crunch is better than Assurance, and we'll go with Fire Punch for more coverage. We don't need this much bulk. We'll just have it more physical, and yeah. So that would be our, and we'll go with Adamant as well. So yeah, that's our T-Tar and Dracovish. So then after T-Tar, we're going to want to go with actually completely separate Pokemon for the last two. We're going with Sableye. This may seem weird, but if Sableye can get in and set up taunts, then there may be like Encore Disable, because remember there's no switching. Oops, not dig. There's no switching in this format. So if they get disabled Encore, then they're stuck in the struggle. They're done. That Pokemon is basically dead. So Encore Disable is so good in 1v1 and 2v2 formats. So we are going to be taking full advantage using Sableye and Prankster. Bolt. Okay. Finally, we're going to add Kartana, because Kartana, like I said, is absolutely ridiculous. So if you get Kartana in, then you just kind of you basically win. Like you send in Kartana and it can beat the two opponents has. We'll have Protect on it just in case they have a way to beat it, in case they for whatever reason decide to bring a fire type and you pick your Pokemon wrong and you're against a fire type. At least you'll have some chance of survival for at least one turn. So yeah, that's it for doubles 2v2, and so we're moving on to the final format of the video, Metronome battles. I know I said these were standard formats, but this one format I can't not cover in this first video. It's such an interesting format because everybody uses only Metronome, but you can have any ability, you can basically have anything. And so this is one set I run sometimes during months, but we're gonna run the other one that I commonly run, and that's Heracross Mega. And we don't need to have the item. We can have Choice Band. We have Stupid, and we can have Intrepid Sword. So we can have Stupid Attack just upon switch in, and then you can have infinite EVs. Like we're gonna go with Brave to have, because like the speed is a little bit less important in these, and we can just use two of them. I know that's a little bit boring, but honestly that's what's optimal in this format. The two Heracross Megas with the stupid amount of attack. If you hit physical moves with Metronome, then you'll just be doing stupid amounts of damage, and then you basically just win. And the only thing that these two fear really is flying moves. But if your opponent gets anything else, it doesn't matter all that much, because you'll be killing them first. So yeah, that is it for this extremely long, not very well explained best teams for Pokemon Showdown, the standard formats. Thank you for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, make sure you subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and I may or may not cover the other formats coming up soon. But yeah, see you guys next time, and enjoy the teams. Use them well.